All right, everyone, we're defending Joe Biden. Well, not really. I just wanted to point out that I'm not before I get too far into the video, because otherwise people will look at the title and they'll think that, and then they'll think I flipped my lid. Biden's age is not an issue. That part is absolutely true. The Democrats, when they iterate that, there's nothing wrong with the claim that they're making. There are people that are 100 years old and are still with it. You're never going to be as sharp as you were 50 years ago, or 80 years ago, or however long ago. You're definitely, over the time that you age, especially past 50, you tend to go into physical and mental decline. Some people do this faster than others. Some people die too young to go through that decline. Which were the lucky ones? The ones that lived to be 100 but are all fucked up, or the ones that died in their 30s? I don't know. Haven't died yet. But the age isn't his issue with Joe Biden. He's 81 years old. His birthday was a couple of days ago. That's not the problem. I know people that are in their 70s and 80s that are kicking it just fine, perfectly sharp. They forget things occasionally, but I do the same thing. Like this morning, I brought down my hippie shirt to wear, and I misplaced it and have no clue where it is. I put it down somewhere in here, and I cannot find it. It's an issue sometimes. It's a big problem. Now, the problem is his cognitive decline. The problem is that Joe Biden has difficulty with basic sentence structure. He has difficulty apparently remembering where he is. He certainly has balance and coordination issues. He's had a number of falls over the last couple of years. There are like 7 or 8 that we know of, and there could have been easily more in private. Hell, the first one that really hit it off was the time that he broke his foot and they had to invent the cover story that somehow made it seem even more like he was crazy, that he was chasing his dog in the shower and slipped trying to grab its tail. That just makes him sound like completely nuts, because no sane person at nearly 80, which is he was 79 at the time, decides, hey, I'm going to run around on the wet shower floor. That sounds like a good idea. I'm just as spry as I used to be, Jack. I can do push-ups behind the woodshed and then beat you with a chain, corn pop. Well, no, I don't think that Joe Biden's days of beating up corn pop ended long ago. The age thing is, however, continuously injected into the national conversation. You've seen the legacy media steadily, little by little, reintroducing that as an issue. Why? Because Donald Trump is also old. He's 77, I believe, or 78. Somewhere around there. He's in his mid-70s. He's an old man. He's elderly. Literally, you're over 75, you're officially an elder. But Donald Trump doesn't have cognitive decline. I find it funny when they try to astroturf that concept. Well, Donald Trump has gone over the cuckoo's nest because he forgot a politician's name. Like he doesn't have a lot of shit to do. You don't have any video of him falling, so the physical decline aspect doesn't appear to be there. While Biden gets his exercise, looks great on his bike for an old man. Yes, for 81, physically speaking, he's all right, but he also has balance issues. Trump appears not to. Donald Trump makes fewer verbal errors. His rambling has been an incessant problem for a very, very long time. That style sort of begins in the goddamn 2000s. He was a bit more measured from the 90s and parts back beyond that. He rambles. Well, I ramble too. I literally do it for a living. That doesn't mean I've got cognitive decline, because when I'm rambling, while I may switch from one topic to another, one subtopic to another, or randomly think of something and give a side story, I'm doing it in a coherent manner. I'm not slurring my words like Joe Biden occasionally does. I'm not forgetting where I am or what year it is, although sometimes, when the year changes, you forget for a while. There's a big problem in school. You always have to put the name and date on the paper. And they're like, what? I was at 94 or 95. I can't remember. Fuck, what month is it? And when you're in a different continent, of course, the month and the day are changed around. I don't know why the United States actually puts the month before the day. See, I just went off on a side story, but that doesn't mean that I'm not delivering it coherently, and it has some tangential related value to what I'm saying. I actually hate the fact that Donald Trump doesn't stay on track more often, because when he stays on track, he delivers better speeches. But it's just his style. That's not evidence of cognitive decline. The sort of things that Biden does are simply incommensurate with the kind of things that Trump does rhetorically and physically and in his mental acuity overall. But age is something they generally have in common. There's a 4-year difference, and that is meaningful. But it's not super meaningful when they're both elderly. So if you're going to focus on the issue, because ostensibly the goal is to attack Trump, they're not even trying to criticize Biden, you simply leave it at age issue. Well, we've got a gerontocracy. Okay, there's a big difference between the 80-year-old politician who can barely stand and the 80-year-old politician who's still doing just fine. Staying in the Senate till she was in her mid-90s obviously was a bad idea for Senator Feinstein. For a number of years, she clearly had dementia. She clearly died with dementia. We know this. We have plenty of observable photographic and video evidence. Joe Biden has dementia. He is demented. Donald Trump is not demented. Therein is the real difference. Therein is the real meaning. The meaning is not, hey, you're 80, so you're not allowed to do anything. No, the meaning is you're 80 and demented and can't do anything. Try and find a legacy media report that actually mentions this subtle differentiation in terminology. There's a reason that they just talk about the age issue, because they want age to be the issue. They don't want the public to focus on Joe Biden's mental collapse. They want the public to focus on old politicians in the general sense, because then it allows them to attack Trump and a few other people that they don't like. Although some of the newer crop, they're actually super young. You look at a Tulsi Gabbard or an AOC, and Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert is, I think, the same age as me, if I remember correctly. I think she's 35. So I always find this hilarious that now there are a few people in Congress that are actually millennials. Some of them suck and some of them are pretty good. It seems to be a very bipolar sort of situation with the politicians from my particular generation. Now, Biden's age is not an issue. I'll declare it loud and proud. I don't care if he's 90 and running as long as he's capable of doing his job. That's not the case with Joe Biden. With Trump, who is also fucking batshit old, he is capable of doing his job. That's really what matters. That should be the reporting, but then it'd be too fair and balanced. That's about all. Peace out.